Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to explore some seriously cool tech. Today we're diving deep into how AI is changing the way we work, especially when it comes to Google Workspace.
Everyone's talking about AI these days.
Right, but we're going beyond the hype. We're talking about Gemini.
Gemini. I think a lot of people are curious about what it actually is.
It's more than just another AI tool. Think of it as like an AI teammate built right into your Google apps.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
It can help with emails, summarize those long reports nobody has time to read, even brainstorming ideas.
It really is pretty amazing what it can do. Gemini for Workspace and Google Cloud is designed to be an extension of your abilities.
I'll be honest, I was blown away by some of the things Gemini can do.
I think we all were. It's really pushing the boundaries.
Okay, so before we get too deep, can you give us a quick overview of what makes Gemini unique?
Sure. One of the key things is that it's multimodal.
Multimodal.
That means it can handle more than just text. It understands and works with code, images, video, pretty much any type of digital content.
Oh, so it's not just for writing emails and documents.
No, it's way more versatile than that. And it's built on the same technology that powers some of Google's most advanced models, like Lambda.
I think a lot of people are wondering why AI seems to be exploding right now. Is this just a trend, or is there something bigger happening?
Well, I don't think it's a fad. It feels more like those big shifts we've seen with personal computers or the internet. This is a technology that has the potential to change, well, everything.
So you're saying this is a major turning point?
I think so, especially for how we work. AI can boost productivity on a scale we haven't seen before.
Okay, let's get into the specifics.
Yeah.
How can Gemini actually help people in their everyday work?
Let me ask you this. Have you ever spent, hours trying to find a specific piece of information?
Oh, all the time. Buried in emails, documents, who knows where.
Right. So imagine having a search engine that understands the context of your request and can pull information from across your entire organization. That's generative search in Gemini.
Wow. No more digging through endless folders and files. That alone would be amazing.
Absolutely. And let's talk about those long reports and complex data sets. How much time do you usually spend trying to make sense of them?
Too much. Way too much.
Gemini can summarize huge amounts of information into concise summaries, giving you those key takeaways instantly.
That would be a game changer for collaboration, too. You could share quick summaries with your team and everyone would be on the same page.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining communication and making sure everyone has access to the information they need.
What about content creation? I mean, beyond just summarizing existing information, can Gemini actually create things?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it as a brainstorming partner and a skilled writer. You need to draft an email, create a presentation. Gemini can help you generate text and images in seconds.
I've even heard it can help with brainstorming itself.
That's right. It's like a virtual teammate helping you refine ideas, explore new directions. Imagine hitting a wall in a brainstorming session and having AI help you push past it.
It sounds like this could change the way teams work together, making the whole creative process much more dynamic.
Absolutely. But there's even more. What if you could automate those repetitive tasks that eat up so much of your time?
Oh, tell me more.
Gemini can automate workflows, handle those mundane tasks, and free you up to focus on higher value work.
This is all starting to sound pretty futuristic. But hasn't Google been incorporating AI into their products for years now? I mean, I remember those spam filters that saved my inbox back in the day.
You're absolutely right. Google's been on this AI journey for a long time, starting with features like spam filters and gradually evolving to things like Smart Compose.
So this feels like a natural progression.
Yes, it really does. Gemini is like the culmination of all that research and development, bringing it all together in a really thoughtful way.
So the goal isn't to replace humans with robots. It's about giving us these AI superpowers to be more effective and efficient.
Precisely. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them.
I like that. So it's like having an AI coworker who's always there to lend a hand or offer suggestions.
Exactly. And it's not just a separate tool. It's built right into the Google Workspace apps we use every day.
So how does that actually work? Is it like a separate button or something?
Think of it as a natural extension of your workflow. You don't have to switch between tools or learn a whole new system. It's just there, ready to help.
Okay, so let's talk about how this plays out in the real world. What's the benefit for the average user?
Well, let's start with writing. Whether you're in Gmail or Docs, Gemini acts as your co-writer, helping you express your ideas more clearly and effectively.
So it's like having a built-in editor.
You could say that. It can suggest different phrasing, check for grammar and tone, even generate entire paragraphs based on your prompts.
I've also heard it can help create visuals and slides, automate tasks in sheets, and even enhance video calls. It's like having an AI assistant for everything.
That's a great way to put it. And for those who want even more power, there's Gemini 1.5 Pro. It has a longer context window, so it can handle larger data sets and more complex tasks.
Context window, what does that mean exactly?
It basically means it can remember more information and use it to give you better results. For example, it could analyze an entire research paper or a long email thread and summarize the key points.
One example that stuck with me from the research was how Gemini can handle simple tasks that would normally take up a lot of time. Like let's say you have hotel details in a document and you need to email that info to a colleague.
Right. Instead of copying and pasting, Gemini can automatically extract that information and insert it directly into your email.
Those little time savers can really add up.
Absolutely. It's all about reclaiming those precious minutes throughout the day.
Of course, whenever we talk about AI and data, privacy and security are always top of mind. Are you using our data to train Gemini or target us with ads?
Those are valid concerns, but Google has a strict no ads policy within Workspace, and they've been very clear that our data is protected and not used for advertising.
So our information is safe within Google Workspace.
Yes. And you always have control over your data, including the ability to delete or export it at any time.
And Google has a pretty good track record when it comes to security, right?
Right. Their advanced protection program provides that extra layer of security if you need it.
It sounds like they're taking security very seriously, which is reassuring.
Definitely. But let's go back to actually using Gemini. I'm curious, have you tried it out yet?
I've played around with it a bit. It's definitely impressive. But I have to admit, I'm still figuring out how to, talk to it.
You mean crafting those prompts?
Yes. It's like there's an art to it.
You're absolutely right. The way you phrase your request can significantly impact the results you get from Gemini.
The research mentioned that the most successful prompts are about 21 words long, but most people only use around 9. So it seems like we need to be more descriptive in our requests.
Exactly. The more context you provide, the better Gemini understands what you're trying to achieve.
It's like giving it a clear roadmap instead of just vague directions.
That's a great way to put it. There's actually a framework you can use to think about prompts. We call it persona, task, context, format.
Okay, break that down for me. Persona, that's like...
Think about who you want Gemini to be for this task. Is it a helpful assistant? A meticulous researcher? A creative writer?
Got it. Then there's the task itself, which is pretty self-explanatory. What do you actually want Gemini to do?
Right. And context, that's where you give it the background information or specific details it needs to understand your request fully.
And finally, format. Is that like telling it whether you want a bulleted list or a paragraph?
Exactly. You're specifying how you want the output delivered.
So it's all about giving Gemini clear instructions rather than just tossing a vague request its way.
Precisely. When you master the art of prompting, that's when you unlock the true power of Gemini. But, different teams within a company have very different needs.
Right. Not every team is going to use it in the same way. So can you give us some real-world examples of how Gemini might be used by different teams?
Absolutely. Let's start with sales. Imagine a team that needs to quickly research potential clients and personalize their pitches.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Gemini can pull relevant information from various sources, help tailor messaging, and even analyze market trends. And with its integration with Salesforce, it can streamline that whole sales process.
What about marketing teams? How would they use Gemini?
Marketing could use it to create highly targeted email campaigns with customized content and calls to action.
So you could basically create custom emails for different segments of your audience.
Exactly. And Gemini can also help analyze campaign performance and identify areas for improvement.
And what about teams working on product development?
Oh, the possibilities there are endless. They could use Gemini for brainstorming new ideas, researching competitor products, even creating presentations and marketing materials. It could streamline that whole product development lifecycle.
It sounds like Gemini could be a game changer for any team that relies on information, communication, and creativity.
Absolutely. It's a versatile tool that can really adapt to different needs and workflows.
To really see this in action, let's walk through a hypothetical scenario. Imagine a new employee joining a company and using Gemini to navigate different project stages.
I like it. Let's do it. Okay, so imagine this new employee. They're tasked with helping to launch a new product.
Ooh, exciting. What kind of product?
Let's say it's a musical instrument, like a pocket-sized, super portable one.
Cool. But also Probably a bit overwhelming for someone just starting out at a new company.
Definitely. So let's say they get this email from their manager outlining the project, introducing them to the team, all that.
That's a lot to take in. So how could Gemini help in that situation?
Well, instead of stressing over writing the perfect reply, they could use Gemini's Help Me Write feature in Gmail.
Ah, so they wouldn't be starting from scratch.
Right. They could quickly generate a professional email acknowledging the project, introducing themselves, maybe even proposing a preliminary timeline, just to show they're on top of things.
That's a great way to make a good first impression. Saves them a ton of time and worry, too, especially when everything's so new.
Exactly. Now, what if they need to do some research on, like, the target audience for this pocket-sized instrument?
I can already see how that could be a huge time suck. Lots of digging through reports and articles.
Right. But with Gemini, they could leverage the conversational AI
Wait,
capabilities.
so they could literally just, like, talk to Gemini?
Pretty much. They could even upload an image of the instrument and ask, what kind of musical instrument is this? Who typically buys this kind of instrument?
And Gemini would actually understand what they're asking.
Not only understand, but provide really detailed insights, like demographics, buying motivations, psychographics even. It's like having a market research team at your fingertips.
That's amazing. And to double-check those insights, they could easily switch over to Google search, right?
Exactly. It's all about using the right tool for the job. Okay, now imagine they need to put together a business plan for this instrument.
Ugh, business plans.
Hmm,
Not exactly the most fun task.
I hear you. But instead of starting from scratch, they could use Gemini to analyze existing business plans for similar products. See what's worked in the past.
So pull up some relevant documents, feed them in Gemini, and ask for a summary.
You got it. Gemini would analyze those documents and give them a concise overview of the key points. They could even ask it to present the information in a table, highlighting commonalities and differences between plans.
Wow, that would save a ton of time and effort. It's like having an army of analysts working for you.
Okay, let's fast forward a bit. There's a big meeting about the product design, but our new employee is out of the office that day, maybe at a conference or something.
Oh no. Missing an important meeting is never fun.
But with Gemini's note-taking features in Google Meet, they wouldn't be completely out of the loop.
So even though they're not there, they can still get a sense of what was discussed.
Gemini would automatically transcribe the meeting, summarize the key points, even pull out those action items.
That's so helpful for staying in the loop, even when you can't be physically present. But what if they want to do more than just read the notes? Like, what if they need to turn those notes into a structured comparison table for different design options?
No problem. They could paste those meeting notes into a Google Doc and ask Gemini to format them using a specific template. It would analyze the content and create that table in seconds, saving tons of manual work.
So Gemini is not just capturing the information, it's actually helping to organize and analyze it.
Exactly. Now, let's move on to the marketing phase. Our new employee is working with the marketing team to launch an email campaign for this instrument.
Okay, so lots of emails to write, different audiences to target, probably a pretty detailed plan involved.
Right, it can get pretty complicated, but they could ask Gemini to, say, create a 6-week email marketing plan in Google Sheets.
So like complete with subject lines, email content, all that.
Yep, and calls to action, even suggestions for relevant marketing tools. Gemini would basically create a structured spreadsheet they could then customize and refine.
It's like having a virtual marketing assistant built right in. Okay, now picture this. It's time for the big presentation to the exec team, but our employee is finalizing their Google slides and realizes the title slide needs a more impactful image.
Time to panic and scramble for stock photos. Nope. They could just describe the image they want to Gemini. Maybe the instrument on a table next to some keys to show it's portable and specify a style, like a photorealistic image or a watercolor.
And Gemini would just, like, create it.
It would generate a bunch of options for them to choose from, all visually appealing and on brand. No need to hire a designer for a simple image.
That's awesome. Okay, but presentations need more than just pretty pictures, right?
Of course. So to really impress those executives, they could use Gemini to add a slide summarizing market trends for miniaturized musical instruments.
Showing there's a demand for this type of product.
Exactly. They wouldn't even need to create it from scratch. They could just ask Gemini to insert a slide summarizing market trends, and it would generate a professional-looking slide with relevant data and visuals.
Okay, now for the numbers part. They'd probably need to include some data visualizations to show the potential profitability.
Totally. They could ask Gemini to create a chart summarizing sales by region based on data from a spreadsheet.
And boom, a visually appealing chart that makes their case even stronger.
Right. Now, what if one of the executives can't make it to the presentation in person?
Happens all the time.
They could use Google Vids to create a video summarizing the proposal.
I keep hearing about Google Vids, but haven't tried it yet. How does it actually work?
It's super easy. They just upload their presentation, and Gemini automatically turns it into a video, complete with narration, music, visuals. It's engaging and easy to digest, even if you missed the live presentation.
It's like having your own personal video editor. Okay, so now it's presentation day. Our employees ready to go, but maybe they stayed up late perfecting everything and aren't looking their best.
Don't worry, they can use Gemini's studio lighting and portrait touch-up features in Google Meet to look fresh and professional, even if they're feeling a bit sleep-deprived.
Okay, those features are definitely lifesavers. But what about during the presentation itself? There's always so much information to take in.
Right. So to make sure they don't miss anything important, they can turn on Gemini's note-taking.
Wait, so Gemini is basically taking notes for them while they're presenting.
Exactly. It's transcribing the meeting, summarizing key points, flagging action items, all in real time. They can just focus on delivering a compelling presentation.
Wow. So as you can see, this scenario really highlights how Gemini can be there for someone throughout their workday, from those first emails to high-stakes presentations.
It's not just about isolated features, it's about how seamlessly AI can integrate with our workflows, making us more efficient and productive in every aspect of our work.
And all this within the secure environment of Google Workspace, right?
Exactly. Users don't have to learn new tools or worry about their data. It's all built right in.
Which, of course, leads to the question everyone's asking, is AI going to take over our jobs?
It's a valid concern, but based on what we've seen with Gemini, it seems to be more about working with us, not replacing us.
So it's about augmenting our abilities, not taking over completely.
That's the idea. It's about freeing us from those tedious tasks so we can focus on things that require our uniquely human skills. You know, problem solving, creativity, critical thinking, all that good stuff.
It's like having an AI teammate who handles the boring parts so we focus on what we do best.
Exactly. And as this technology keeps evolving, who knows what amazing new applications will emerge. It's a pretty exciting time to be working in this space.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
But for now, let's get practical. How can people actually experience Gemini for themselves? I know Google's offering a free trial, right?
That's right, they are. And I really encourage everyone listening to check it out.
Yeah, a free trial is a perfect way to see if Gemini is a good fit for your own work. It's like a sneak peek into the future of work.
Exactly. A future where AI is there to support us and help us reach our full potential.
Love that. But before we wrap up, can you leave our listeners with one last thought to ponder?
Okay. Think about your workday. What's that one task, the one that feels the most tedious or time-consuming, the one you wish you could just, magically delegate away?
Ooh, good question. We all have those tasks, right? What if you could hand those over to Gemini? Think about what you could do with all that extra time.
Right. Maybe focus on bigger projects, finally tackle that professional development course you've been putting off, or just, have more time for life outside of work.
That's the dream, isn't it? It's exciting to think about how AI could free us up to do more of the things we love.
The future of work is changing so fast, and it's clear that AI is going to play a huge role in shaping what that looks like.
So, to everyone listening, we encourage you to explore Gemini and see how it can transform your work. Who knows, maybe you'll discover a passion for something you never even had time for before.
That's what it's all about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Gemini.
It's been a fascinating conversation. And that's a wrap for today. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of AI with us.
Until next time.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing those boundaries.